welcome to the Motor India show. Ashish, your organization is not, Cougar Motorsport is not very old, it's fairly young, 2009, and you come up a long way. Can you very briefly tell us what got you into an activity of this kind?
So I used to be involved in the finance sector. I was a banker, as you know, and I used to indulge in a little bit of motorsport, do some rallying, the Raid de Himalaya, the Desert Storms, etc. I had a gypsy, and every time I'd come back from an event, most of my peers, my colleagues, my clients who would know that I'd gone for a motorsport event would express an interest to also participate, saying next time you go, can you tell us about it? We'd love to come. A lot of people love driving. And then when you took them through the motions, they would all shy away and say, no, this is too extreme, too complex, too much of preparation, too much of time. Isn't there anything which is well balanced with comfort, safety and everything, and that we can do and still come back? So that's where the idea was born, that why don't we create a platform to give these people who've got interesting vehicles, they have a passion for driving, something to do with those vehicles, which is not extreme, and we can build in all the comforts and safety that they're looking for. And that's how we started Cougar Motorsport in 2009.
But apart from the dashes you've been doing, I mean, of course, the icing on the Cougar cake is the Rainforest Challenge, which is into its third year now, if I'm not mistaken. So what's been the progress there? I mean, are you happy with the way things are moving? And I also realized that this year you have something called India 4x4 Week. Now, what is all this? Can you explain that?
So, while Cougar started with the dashes, which we continue to do, we realized that out of the entire motorsport domain, we were getting more and more involved with the off-road space. Even the events that we do for other car companies such as Land Rover, such as Pajero, such as Audi, the Q-Drive and all that, they were all related to off-roading rather than being track events or being rallies, etc. So that's where we decided to focus on that. Let's do more in this space. It's not crowded, and we can still probably make a name for ourselves there. And that's when the idea of the Rainforest Challenge came in. And as you said, we've run it for the last 2 years. It's when it started, none of us were sure how it will be received, because there seemed to be a huge gap between where Indian off-roading was and what Rainforest Challenge required in terms of vehicle build and endurance and competitive level. But in the last 2 years, we've been very surprised. In fact, the final icing is this year, when more than almost 2 months before the event, we've had to say no, entries are all closed. And we were getting comments from people saying that we've spent lakhs on vehicles, how can you not take our entry? And we'd never heard from them. We'd never heard about these people, where they are. But it seemed that there were far many people out there who, encouraged by last 2 years Rainforest Challenge, were building vehicles, preparing to come, but had probably waited too long to give the entries. So we have a limitation of carrying only 25 entries, because we cannot finish a day with more vehicles than that. But if we wanted, we could have, we have another 15-20 who are ready to come in. So it's gone up well. It's built up exactly as it should, and the level of off-roading has gone up, and so RFC is going fine.
So when you say 25, the limitation is like pick and choose, or are there certain criteria they need to?
No, we had announced entries had opened in March, and we'd announced that we'll be able to take only 25, and it was a first come first served process. They all obviously have to, when they bring their vehicles for scrutiny, they have to make sure and convince us that they've met all the requirements. So as long as they've met all the requirements in terms of vehicle preparation and safety, they're on.
Okay, lovely. And what's this 4x4 Week all about?
So again, that's an expansion into the same off-road space and domain where we are seeing maximum traction. Rainforest Challenge has come and established itself as India's largest, mother of all off-road events, no doubt. But that's again for the most evolved off-roaders, right, of India. It's an extreme event, 1 week, people who have the right kind of equipment, vehicles can come and compete. But since we are in that space, then the thought was, why not also try and bring the larger off-road community together? and it helps us in Rainforest Challenge as well. Because if these people come to Goa, if we can get them to Goa and give them something to come to Goa for, then we build on our audience for the Rainforest Challenge. And they will come attracted to Goa to watch the Rainforest Challenge because it is so extreme and tough for them. So they both build on each other. That's why we added this convention around the Rainforest Challenge. It coincides with the Rainforest Challenge. But apart from just watching Rainforest Challenge, people who have a general interest in four-wheel drive and off-roading will have other things to do as well. So displays, proving grounds from various car manufacturers, evening entertainment, knowledge sessions, contests, and the ability to drive your own off-road car on a few off-road tracks prepared by us. So that's like it's an additional thing to the Rainforest Challenge. The Rainforest was only for those 25 extreme off-roaders. Now we are looking to make this, appeal to a larger group.
Okay, and I also heard that you've tied up with a US-based company, or perhaps a winch company making all the equipment for off-road. What is this all about? I mean, this is just.
See, I think as a testimonial to RFC and how RFC is building out in India, we were approached by Vaughan Industries, which is one of the world's largest manufacturers of winches. And most off-roading competitions, most off-roaders prefer and use Vaughan winches, electric winches, to be a part of Rainforest Challenge in India. So we are extremely, we are really delighted that Vaughan has picked us out of all other events in the region, and wanted to come and to be the official winch partner for Rainforest Challenge India. Most of the participants, these 25 that have registered, are in any case using Vaughan products. So it's good for them in terms of being able to access the latest technology from Vaughan, and it's good for Vaughan to build a brand around their product in India. They couldn't have picked a better event.
To host such an event, of such a mammoth size and extremely extreme in its way of doing things, how do you manage it? I mean, how big is your team, and do you outsource a lot of people and equipment just to ensure that it's done well? Safety is also a priority in all this. How's it all done?
So the team's really small. That's unfortunately the way it has to be. That businesses like ours, cannot afford to have a large headcount and a lot of people sitting on your rolls all year round, because these events come up once every few months. So most of the model is mostly to work with consultants. These are people who I know personally. I know what their experience is, I know what their temperament is. They all have either a job or a business of their own, but they are all very passionate about motorsport. And once in a while when I have an event like RFC or any other event that I do, I reach out to select few of these consultants, and they leave whatever they have and they come to help and to put the event together. And we do it on a commercial basis. It's not like friends and family help me to do an event and stuff. So in 7 years, Cougar's completed 7 years now, we've done 81 events. And we are a team of probably 3 people in the office. The rest is all this team which comes together and then disbands after every event. Specifically for Rainforest Challenge, 2014 was our first year. It was a big learning. We had made some plans as to how we'll execute it, and we fell short in terms of manpower, in terms of logistical backup, and everything that we had thought that one person can do, multitask, can probably do 3 things. None of those things happened. The competitive part ran well, but in terms of the back end, logistics, movement, campsites, catering, food, setups, etc., we realized that we probably have to double the size of the team next year, and we cannot have multitasking, etc., because we are basically, there are things like weather. There's, if it rains, it's some river floods up and you cannot cross anymore, or our 2-wheel drive vehicles cannot reach the campsite. So we, basically that was a big learning in 2014. So 2015 we sorted all that out. We added more people, we gave different responsibilities, separate recovery teams, separate marshalling teams, separate advanced team which goes and makes the course in advance, and then the event headquarter team, which is essentially just overseeing everything, the results and compiling all that. So now I think we've got it figured out. So last year it ran, much better. All our back-end logistics, food, everything was going as per plan. So that's the way it is. We make very detailed lists. Work starts almost 5 months before the actual event. Trips to Goa, recce's for the sites, government permissions and approvals, getting the sponsors on board, and then reaching out to potential participants, because each element has a bearing on the other. If number of participants will decide how big the camps have to be and how the merchandise has to be done. Number of sponsors decide how the branding has to be done. So it's all number of moving pieces, but we've made some very detailed SOPs now, and so we follow them and things are much better.
And in the meantime, what about your dashes? They continue, whether it's the Himalayan dash or the coastal or the desert, or is it an off and on event which happens?
See, we've been flowing with what's been coming our way. When Cougar was set up, our definition mandate was high-end premium dashes, and that's all that we would do. Rainforest Challenge and the event management piece for Land Rover, etc., sort of things which have come by and we've taken them on. But we cannot let the dashes die. That's what initially we started off with. That's what we are known for, and those are our own events. So I really have high ambitions to build them. But as of now, they're happening. We are still doing them. In fact, next month will be the Himalayan Dash and the Rainforest Challenge and the India 4x4 week, and we'll pull off all three, I'm sure. So the dashes are still happening. We're not letting them take a back seat. It's just that probably the time and energy which we could have put in to build them further, that is not happening. But we have a vision for them. Basically because the vision is to cover the 4 best terrains that India has to offer, which is the Himalayas, the Thar Desert, the Tiger Reserves and the coast. Build some driving events around those. Do them well, really premium, good experiences with all the backup logistic supports, and market them to the Indian traveler who wants to travel through his own country and see these places. But not only that, also to take them to the international traveler who wants to come into India and drive through these terrains. Because we are lucky that we are based in India and we have such diverse terrain in our backyard. So that's the vision, but it's taking a bit of a backseat right now because of some of the other things which are happening.
You have the Rainforest Challenge, that's a very big event. Are you looking at equally big events in future? And do you hope, are you very content with having these events in your basket, and you're quite content with things?
See, there's no end to how each one of these can be made bigger. The dashes I just mentioned about, we can make them bigger and take them international. Rainforest Challenge, last year we announced when we were doing the RFC in Goa that we are going to do a couple of regional chapters. So we did RFC North and we did RFC South, which were a precursor to this Goa event. The winner of RFC North and the winner of RFC South got free entries to come and compete in the Goan event. Nothing stops us from adding a few more regional rounds of RFC in India. So the RFC itself, while the Goa event can be bigger with more, in terms of scale, etc., we can do RFC North, a South, a Northeast, a West, so that itself can be bigger.
That'll be independent of the main, the Firovia sponsored, the Force Motor sponsored main event. That's an independent.
Exactly. Well, in this year when we did North and South, we still called it the Force Gurkha RFC South and the Force Gurkha North. I think as part of my commitment to our sponsor who supported us for the last 2 years. It's only fair that we give them more visibility and more mileage wherever we go. We'll see how it goes in the future. Ideally, the same sponsor should get that additional visibility. But these are not really linked to the main event in the sense that it's not as if that you have to compete in the regional rounds if you want to compete in the main event. The formats are also different, though we run the same special stages, but these are only of 2 days, and we run 6 special stages, while the RFC in Goa is a 7-day event with 24 stages. So yeah, so we can make RFC bigger. And then the whole India 4x4 week plan, which we've added this year, we want to see how it goes. This is more of a pilot. So there's no end to how big we can make this going forward. So as of now, to answer your question, I'm not so sure that we want to take on more on our plate. We want to get this right and do it better, and then we'll see if we've got the appetite.
Okay, actually one last question is, you conducted so many events in the last few years in the life of Cougar Motorsport. What have you seen among the people? I mean, has their appetite of the Indian people for adventure, has it grown? Do you see more and more people coming forward? There was a time when we were all shy doing off-road events, but now with events happening, people coming out alive and happy. Are the others being motivated?
Well, I can't speak for the whole adventure industry, but yeah, when it's related to driving or off-roading, I think we are growing year by year. And Rainforest itself, I told you that we've had to shut entries. There were more people wanting to come on board and compete. The off-road space is definitely growing. It's definitely growing. There are lots of events which have come up, very good events which are happening all over the country. More and more people are looking to buy a Jeep or buy a Gypsy and become off-roaders. So the off-roading is sort of, I've seen numbers, I've seen people saying off-roading is one of the fastest growing recreational activities, urban recreational activities today. And so yeah, I think it's clearly growing. Even in our Himalayan dash and in our other dashes, we've seen people, more and more people wanting to come. We've even seen people who've come once wanting to come back again. I mean, people who did the Himalayan dash with us last year are coming back again this year, some of them, and we are surprised that they just went with us last year, and we thought it would be difficult for them to take out so much time to come and do the whole event, and they're back again. So clearly it's their love for adventure that's bringing them back. So I think I would agree with you that yes, the adventurous spirit, especially related to driving and in the off-road domain, is definitely growing.
Okay, that's wonderful. Thank you so much, and wish you the very best. Wish Cougar Motorsport the very best. Thanks a lot.